welcome back to my channel. Today I am showing you something that I said I would never buy. We should just learn to not believe in what I say outside of other things. When I say I won't buy things, just ignore that. So today I finally gave in to one of the Starjoy lightning deals, which by the way happen like every other week, it feels. But this one was a good one. It was already 20% off plus a 20% off coupon. Yeah. You know what? I got no excuses. I just bought it. However, there was actually a reason for this as I justify this. So I had no interest in buying the Starjoy or other budget pencils. However, I have seen quite a few colorists and artists use and rave about these. And so I was like, okay, that's it. I really should check these out. But then I'm like, no more budget pencils. This is all going in my head, giving you some backstory. Then I remembered that Lori from Color My World is collaborating with the company to create the Starjoy Gold. Those come out September or October, somewhere soon-ish. And they're a new and improved version, better colors, cuter names, just all around. I'll link to her video announcing about what the gold are below. Hopefully I remember. But so I decided it would be fun to buy the original. That way when hers come out on Amazon, I can buy the new ones, the Starjoy Gold, and kind of compare them and see what's changed and whatnot. So it's for science. That's what we're going to say. Yeah, that justifies all purchases. From here on out, anything I buy is for science. So these are the 120 Starjoy pencils. When you open up the case, which is just your standard flimsy tin case, you are instantly presented with a very chemical smell. I had opened these in my office and I was just like, whoa. So these got to air out. Is it what they use to manufacture? Is it this foam? I don't know. Smells. Not the worst I've smelled, but it's pretty strong. So on the inside of the lid, they have the 120 colors listed here. I found interesting, they do rainbow order, which I love. I usually try to put my pencils in rainbow order. They do have a gold and silver first. Now, one thing you'll notice also, I'll get to that in a second. Actually, it comes with a little pamphlet. This just tells you all of the products. So here's the 120. Here's the 72 count case, which I think is the one people call the delis. I didn't see the 72 on Amazon. And then they talk about their ones with the wraps. And then also they have a color card here, although this would be kind of a pain without a white gel pen. And it's like brochure paper. So good effort, but I'm not going to use that. It did have foam protecting the pencils, which is nice considering I paid like almost nothing for these, it feels like. So they actually protect their pencils, and we're going to do the shake test. Oop, that was me hitting the desk. So that loud bang was not the thing. Oh, they still move around though. Yep, hear that? So the foam doesn't keep them from moving. So that means while these were in transit, because mine just came in an envelope, they did have a cardboard sleeve around them, but that still means the pencils were moving around. So something to keep in mind. So remove the foam. So maybe a teensy bit thicker of a foam would have solved that problem. That said, I'm not seeing like any breakage off the bat, but see, you can see how they shifted from me moving them around. So they do move in the case. And that noise was them hitting the tip of the tin here. Why do I check that? I check it because when a pencil is banging around and shipping, that more likely means you're going to have broken cores. And it just kind of shows how a company goes with their packaging. Now, granted, this is very budget. Some people have called these polychromos dupes. So this will be an interesting test for sure. But they do look like a polychromos in terms of the, shiny painted barrel, color dipped end, the little stripe. But after that, the writing is different. These are thinner than a polychromos as well. I believe the thickness of the core is one of the things they were changing. I can't remember with the gold right off the top of my head. But on here you'll see it says SJ Starjoy, the number, and then the name. Now, back to the case. So you have your things here. They are in order, except they start and go this way. Not a biggie, just something to keep in mind. Now, this, if you have nails, this is, yeah, you can't really lift by these things. Very flimsy plastic cases, but that's like with most budget. So, I mean, I seriously didn't even pay 20 bucks for these after all the discounts. So, like, I can't expect them to go super crazy on price or packaging. But you'll see that they do shift, so you have to kind of push them back into their little slots. Ooh. And these are flimsy enough to where, like, they just sit here and bend. So, I mean, loads of colors, though. Purples, look at more greens. Wow, there's a ton of greens and what looks like a ton of blues. And then the last tray, we got grays. Quite a few grays for a 120 set. Loads of browns. All these pinks, oh my. And then they got some reds also down here. Now, I'm wondering, oh my gosh, I can't get those ones out. I'm wondering if with those, no, because these all seem to be in a reasonable order. Oh, but they're numerical order too. 105, 106, 107, 108. Okay. So they may not end up being fully in color family order and instead have a pencil order, but they do seem to have the rainbow order going on. And then, yep, you can see them in numerical order here. So it'll be interesting when I swatch them to see what I got to work color-wise. So they do have a blunted edge here for their sharpen, but I'm going to sharpen each and every one of these. But yeah, I mean, right off the bat, they are definitely lighter feeling and skinnier than a polychromos. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to compare this pencil to a polychromos. Let's be real. Polychromos are polychromos for a reason. This is Starjoy. That said, I do want to see how good they are because people have been raving about these. And I wanted to have a set so that I could compare them to the Starjoy Gold when the Starjoy Gold do come out on Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen these and we will swatch them together. This is not a review of the Starjoy. I want to make that clear. Anytime I say swatching and first impressions, I literally mean swatching and first impressions. I play with my pencils for a few months before I share my opinions. That way when I give a review, you guys know I've actually been sitting there using these and playing around with them and not just reviewing them right after I swatch them. So keep that in mind. Anytime you see a first impressions, you may not see a review for 2 months, 6 months. It depends on how things go and how often I use them. But I'm gonna sharpen these, get my chart ready, and then we will swatch and see what these bring out. Okay, so I have sharpened our pencils. Let me get those back open. They still stink to high heaven. Whew. So yeah, I sharpened every one using my AFMAT sharpener, and they actually did really well. So no breakage, no issues there. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, the AFMAT has always been really good to me, including with those pesky Prismacolor problems. So let me swap sides, and let's try and swatch these as neatly as I can. I just have to remember to move left to right and not right to left. So let's just dive in and see what the hype is about these darn things, all right? Okay, so we're gonna start with our gold. These are definitely a thinner pencil. I can't wait to compare these when Lori's Starjoy Gold come out. Oh, these are dusty. Because I really want to kind of see the changes, the new colors, really cute color names. People got to like share input and vote on them. So I'm really excited to see all that. And Lori is an amazing amazing artist and colorist. She really knows what she's talking about. So the fact that she's involved in those pencils, just like reassures me that I can invest in those and not be disappointed. So, all right. I do like to always make sure we're in the right order because I took the order off the tin. Ooh, that is bright, bright, bright. Okay, so instantly I am noticing these are scratchy. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out there. I am using my 110-pound Nina cardstock. I always try to link it below in the description. It's my go-to. In fact, I've recently added to my description all my go-to items. That way I don't have to relink them. So my sharpener, which is the AF Matte, my eraser, and then the two Nina papers, the Nina 110 and the Nina Desert Storm, just so you know which ones I'm using. So that Nina 110 cardstock is very slick, okay? Even the softest of pencils are going to have a few scratchy points on this paper. So I always take that with a grain of salt. Red ochre, not ever heard that before. So you should too. Like, so if I see something scratchy, keep in mind I am using an unforgiving cardstock. However, this is the type of paper I tend to scan and print on, so I want to see how they perform on this paper. I could tell you, with these being oil-based, these would probably do great on a Hannah Carlson book. Clara Markova pages as well take to oil really well. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Oh my, oh my. I love that these are in rainbow order. I have a feeling I will be rearranging them though. But I love when companies put them out in rainbow order. Terracotta. Oh, that's lovely as well. Look at that one. This one's actually smooth. Reds can get a little scratchy, so can dark blues. Purples, always notorious. These are dusty though. Could be the fact that I'm a little heavier handed. These are oil-based. Oil-based tend to favor better with those light, delicate layers that I'm just not capable of doing. Sorry, pencils. But I'm using a heavy pressure at the start of the swatch and they're not breaking. Of course, now I just said it, so let the breakage begin. But yeah, I'm using heavy and then I'm just lightening as I lift. Believe it or not though, I know I'm always like, I hate layering. I do layer a lot more than I give myself credit to. And I've actually been doing more and more layering because I've been working on more realistic coloring. And honestly, to do realistic coloring, well, you gotta just suck it up and do some layering. So that heavy-handed pressure can only go so far. You gotta build up those colors. All right. I do remember when I made this chart, I accidentally screwed up the numbers. So somewhere along the line, I skipped a number. So I'm gonna just go based on the color names for now. Yeah, these are dusty. Dusty, dusty. I'm still on, I don't know why I'm off to the side there. All right, marigold. Already, I'm really impressed with the oranges and the reds so far. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's get our orange yellow. I mean, the gold and silver are kind of mute. Moot, not mute. Big difference there. I usually give them to my daughter. Neons and metallic pencils usually go to my daughter. Just not my thing. What I'll do is I'll brush away the dust at the end of each row. So you guys aren't watching me dust my page every 5 minutes. That one is very scratchy. And that's not just the paper. That is, you can feel it in the lead. There's something in there. Now this is a budget pencil, guys. I mean, the budgetist of budget. Like I said, I got them on a lightning deal plus like a 15% off coupon or 20%. I don't know, something ridiculous. And that's the only reason I caved, but I was just like, okay, I'm gonna see what these are about. I had said I would never buy them, but I thought it would be a really fun experiment to test these up against the new ones when they come out. So that's why I grabbed them. These are definitely oil-based. You can feel it in the lay down, which is good because sometimes with those budget ones, you're like, is this oil? This one, I've got no questions. It's definitely oil. Again, holding its point. Oop, that one's got a different pigment running through it. Holding its point really well. Yeah, there's an orange pigment running through that one. Let me see if I can zoom you in. Sorry, hope I didn't make anyone dizzy. See that scratch of a different pigment running through the lead? That is common in budget pencils, but also expensive pencils. It happens. I have actually had a luminance pencil that did that, and I returned that bad boy right away. So I was like, what's up with this, Crayon Dash? Prismacolor, notorious for it, especially if you get the rejects out of their Mexico plant, then you're going to get a lot more of it. So always be mindful of where your Prismacolors are coming from. Prismacolors that I receive from Blick Arts, I have never had that issue. It's the cheap 70 and 60 count one, or $60 150 count ones that pop up on Amazon that are the issue. Blick Arts, when I buy open stock, I honestly, I mean, the fact they are expensive, but Blick Arts is reviewing those pencils and they're making sure they're not off center. They're actually taking time to put them on the shelves first. They do like a little internal quality control that I appreciate, because there's nothing worse than waiting for your shipment from Blick, which we all know is notorious. Look at that white. It's actually white. For taking forever. Cream. In fact, I'm waiting on a shipment right now that was supposed to be here Monday, and it kept saying delayed, delayed. It's supposed to come today, so we'll see. I hope it's not lost, because it's a very expensive one. Oh my gosh. It's always when you order something expensive that it's like, I'm loving this. This is a beautiful ivory color. I know they call it Naples Yellow Light, but I'm definitely disagreeing with that, and I'm calling it ivory. Lemon. Ooh, that is very... Look at all these yellows. I mean, look at this. This is a lot of yellows, guys. Kind of an overkill, but a lot of yellows. Yeah, that's a lot of yellow. And we still have more. Okay, so the yellows and oranges have been pretty smooth, but that's typical for any brand. They don't require as much pigment. You're always going to notice that those ones are softer. Any brand, Prisma, Luminance, even the high-end type of things, those ones are always softer. It's when you get into those dark greens and reds and purples. This has got something running through it too. Oh, yeah, let me zoom you guys in so you can see that. So see that orange stripe running through there? Oh, it's coming through again right there too. And this one's scratchy, but see that orange stripe? That type of stuff does concern me. All right, I'll zoom you back out. Make everyone seasick. All right. I just want to point out where I see these streaks, because it's still important. Whether it's a budget pencil or not, I do at least expect some quality control. And these have been hyped up like crazy for being Polychromos dupes. I'm gonna break it to you now. A spoiler, these are nothing like a Polychromos. These are definitely oilier. And by that I mean these are gonna build up a lot of oil and before you get your pigment down, whereas Polychromos are harder so that you can actually layer and layer and not get that build up first. Here's one that I'm kind of curious if anyone knows why. It's CS Leaf Green Light. Does anyone know what the CS is? I haven't had time to research. Again, anytime I'm swatching, please do not think my swatching video is a review. This is literally swatching and first impressions, and it's just me kind of testing the waters. I will play with these and review them when I feel confident in reviewing, and that whether that's a few weeks, months. I mean, I've been known to go as long as 6 months, but I really want to play around with a pencil, talk to manufacturers when I can, suppliers, really understand the pencil before I come out and tell you my thoughts. So always keep that in mind. I noticed a few of you will call my swatching videos a review, and I don't want anyone to misinterpret that. It is not a review. This is just swatching first impressions, and then the review comes after. Now these are still pretty dusty. Ooh, this one's very soft though. It's like butter. Oh my. Now when I come back over on the heavy pressure side and lay down, they do get very smooth. It's definitely not a dry oiled pencil. But again, I can tell from the buildup that these would not take a ton of layers. Like if you were comparing the layering capability of a polychromos, you would definitely find yourself layering more with a polys, in my opinion. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay. Same thing here. This one is BST. No idea what that means. It's probably something super simple. Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Yeah, these are definitely not in color family order. At least not from what I can see. I mean, these two would work well. That would work well, but it's almost like you have to go doot, doot, doot. That's just completely out of place. These work okay. So I'm trying to figure out why they're in this order. They do have rainbow order, but not like an exact rainbow order. This one's definitely scratchy, and I see some brown coming through. Yeah, there's little touches of brown in my swatch. Again, this is a very, very budget pencil. You're gonna have quality control issues. Now, if I was swatching my polychromos and saw that, then I'd be like, what on earth? But I mean, I don't even think I broke 20 bucks with this deal I got. Like I said, it was so ridiculous that I was like, okay, fine. You win, Starjoy. I will try you. But I am definitely not going to compare these to polychromos. That's just not even fair. I will compare these to other budget oil-based pencils like the Brute Fooners and Shapir Farben. I'll gladly do that, but I have a pet peeve about trying to compare a budget to a professional grade because it's just not really fair. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some budget pencils that really rival those artist grade, but those are few and far between. Let's see, CS Olive Yellow. So I prefer to keep it fair and be like, okay, how does this match up against the other prominent budget brands? And I can always do a quick like little comparison to the more expensive one, but by no means do I hold these. Oh, these trays are going to be hard to swap out. I'll never hold these to the standard I would of an artist grade pencil. I mean, when you get 120 pencils for not even 20 bucks, you've got to lower your expectations a bit. Can't be like, I'm gonna get, you know, polychromos dupes right now. Oh, dupes, that's such a popular one as of late. Chrome green. Now that said, if there are companies out there that claim to be like a professional grade version, you know, like if they're really actually trying to compete with those professional ones, then yes, I will compare them. Blick Studio brush markers, for example, they are trying to actually compete with Copic. So I am going to compare them to Copic. I'm working on that comparison video right now because that's kind of an important one to do because they're trying to be a Copic competitor. Now, Starjoy is not trying to compete with polychromos at all, so it's not really fair. But yeah, if a brand straight up says, hey, we're taking on this big guy, then I'm like, okay, let's see how that works. Let's see what you got. But that would be like me comparing Ohuhu to Copic. It's not really fair. They don't even have the same nib. They can't even refill. You can't even replace the nib. You can flip it though. So they got that. It would be fun to do a little battle of the oil-based budget pencils. Let's see, would I say these are as soft as Brute Fooners, the square Brute Fooners? So far, I would say the 120 square Brutes are softer. I almost want to say that from swatching, I feel like those Brutes would actually layer better because I have done hair with those, and while they're soft and creamy, they put out a lot of pigment so you don't get buildup before you get to the color you're trying to get. I don't know. I'd have to see. These aren't awful though. Loads of greens. I mean, look at this. We're still going on the green train here. Right, emerald. That one's a little scratchy, but that could be my paper. That's not bad. Mint green light. Ooh. Oh yes, loving this color. Yep, I like it a lot. That is a pretty color. Jade green. That would blend really well with that mint green light. For sure. Looks like we're getting into my favorite category of all pencils, the turquoise colors. Yeah, I'm liking that one too. Teal. You know, all of this would be right up my alley. Teal green light. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, so I'm seeing, I think I might be figuring out how or why these are arranged this way, maybe. Because they do work left to right. This is a blending family. This is a blending family. No, the theory kind of loses its thing right there, though. I tried to figure it out. I was like, oh, I've cracked the code. Never mind. What's funny is my swatch chart is actually going to go opposite order because all my things are going this way. But I really did not want to confuse the crap out of myself. So I'm swatching right to left. And I'll probably put these in a case. Problem is I really hate buying cases for my budget pencils. I want them, but it's just they cost so much money. I'm like, I can't justify spending more on a case than I did for a set of pencils. You know what I mean? Now, luminance, sure. Prismacolor, sure. These, back when cases were cheap, yes, but I mean, the price of cases right now, like I'll spend as much as I did in pencils for a case, and I'm just not I can't justify it. I might end up getting like one big case to share these and the Starjoy Gold and have them together. Oops, we finally got a breakage, but that one, to be fair, already had a semi-cracked tip from sharpening. Scoot that back a little. Cerulean blue. I mean, already I'm really impressed with the loads of greens and blues. I mean, this is like blue central. Oh, that color is gorgeous. That one is a little scratchier, but like I said, these colors tend to be scratchy. It's a lovely color as well. Quite lovely. Okay. That's a very pretty one. And look at all these blues, and we still have more to go. Look how vibrant those are. They are pretty dusty with heavy pressure. A lot of pencils are though. But these are a little extra dusty. But they're also softer than a polychromos. So they are, you know, crumbling a little. This one's going to be scratchy. Always is with most brands. Blue gray. It's kind of an odd, yeah, see the color order they have these in. I'm starting to question who made this. Let's see, Prussian blue. And no, I'm not really bothering to fill in the whole square. I've come to realize it's just too much time. And I may be redoing all these as part of my project, so I go crazy here. This is more than enough space to kind of get the gist of what we're working with. Light ink blue, but it's purple. Very pretty purple. It's almost like a grayed lavender-ish color. Okay. That one's very soft. Oh yeah, I like that one too. That one's pretty good. Very soft as it goes over. Great selection of purples as well. Kind of curious what the pinks will be like. I did notice some of these color names are similar to Castle Art, where they refer to like mauve deep. I just remembered when I was writing them out, I was like, oh, Castle Art kind of does the same thing. No, these are not made by the same company as far as I know. But I did find it interesting how a lot of the colors were similar, right down to the Jaipur pink. I recognized that one. So yeah, they do have similar color names, but then again, I mean, color names are pretty universal depending on pigments used. Granted, of course, one company's version of indigo blue is not universal. I mean, I question even Prisma's indigo blue sometimes. All right, got that tray out. Purple. But yeah, like they'll do purple, purple deep. which was one thing like I noticed with Castle Arts. Good old Castle Arts. Lavender Light. Not too bad. Okay, now we're getting into our pinks. Opera Rose, that's a Daniel Smith color that I really want to get. Watercolor, by the way, not a pencil. This is not really like the Opera Rose from that line, but all right, push that back a little. And then yeah, Bengal Rose Light, Bengal Rose Deep, exactly like Castle Art labeling there. So we do have some crossover in names on that front, especially with the base color, the light and the deep. I found kind of interesting. That one is freakishly close to the Bengal Rose. I almost feel like it's not light enough. Looks like we have a ton of pink to work with too. Bengal Rose Deep. Oops. Sorry about that. I had to take a phone call. But anyway, don't remember what I was in the middle of that thought when I saw it ringing. My son is currently under quarantine at home, so I've been trying to reach the school and figure out what to do with his schoolwork, and they were calling, so I was like, gotta jump on that. Okay, magenta. Definitely don't want him to miss out just because he's being quarantined. It's been kind of crazy. It's funny, they'll like send you an email saying your child's been quarantined and then nothing like instructing me what to do after the fact. I'm like, so what do I do with my kid here? It's kind of interesting. I'm going to grab a couple of these at a time. It'll make it a little easier. So it looks like we have some reds down here too. And that one is very scratchy. Jaipur pink. I recognize that as a color from a few different brands. Very pretty though. Very pretty pink actually. I really want to organize all my pencils and do like swatch charts by color. I think it would be so fun to take all your pencils, all your brands. Oh my gosh, can you imagine sitting there? And I don't know if I would put them all in color family order. I think I would just put all oranges on one page and call it a day. No way would I try and put them in order. But it would be nice because a lot of brands blend nicely with one another, you know? Like you don't have to stick to one brand only. And that's a big thing I've struggled with over the years is I just do one brand only. And sometimes there's pinks and stuff from another brand that you really want to incorporate into your work. And usually oil and oil will always mix well, wax and wax will mix well, but there's also times where an oil and a wax will play nicely, like the Derwent Light the Fast and Caran d'Ache Luminance. They do great together, so that's one of the projects I really need to get working on. Just haven't decided how on earth I'm going to do it. Okay, Azalea. I still have to swatch out some watercolors this week. I don't know what order these videos are going to come out, so we'll find out. Wow, that's a really orangey color for a flesh deep color. Ooh, that's like a coral. Honestly, they should have called that coral. All right. Fleshlight. This is very beigey. This color is called Skin Yellow. It definitely has yellow undertones. Wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's really yellow and peachy. All right, and this is just flesh. Interesting array of colors. I wonder if they put them there for doing the lighter skin tones, because then they are branching into the browns, which we would use for more ethnic skin tones. So I wonder if that's why these have been placed here. Kind of trying to keep all skin tone colors as one. Brown ochre. But yeah, see how we're moving into the browns as well and all that. So if you're trying to do more ethnic colors, you would have all your skin tones lined up. I really do need to practice like doing darker skin tones. I'm not the greatest at it, I will admit. They're actually a lot more complicated than a Caucasian skin tone. It actually intimidates me. But there's some really good tutorials, including a few people who have done like simple 3 and 4 color ones. So I need to watch those and try those out and see how. But I mean, I've watched a few tutorials where it's like, you know, you got to add all these undertones that you don't even realize. And I'm like, oh, I'm so intimidated by it. But I do want to work on it because there's a few really pretty pictures in some of my books and they would just look gorgeous. I'm trying to remember who it is that has, no, Amberly Silencia has like a 3 or 4 pencil one I really want to try out, and someone else does too. Kind of work on that. I kind of want to do it with my pan pastels too though, because pan pastels actually come with a really good array that you can use for skin. Okay. This is not a traditional Van Dyke brown. Not even close, but okay. That's why I said, like, you'll see repeated names, but it doesn't mean the color is always exactly the same because every brand is different with what pigments they use and how they classify it. This black is almost more like a gray black. So even when I layer it, I can see a lot of gray coming through. It looks like we're getting into our grays here. This is a 120 count set, so you would expect to see a good selection of grays. I mean, hey, if polychromos can pull it off, anyone can. That said, it looks like they did sacrifice a lot of grays for other colors, and I'm not complaining. You don't need like cold gray 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's honestly overkill. Now in a Prisma set, it just works because all their other colors are so well balanced, but I mean, I honestly even think polychromos kind of went a little crazy with theirs. They could have totally supplemented a few different colors, if you ask me. Terra Verde, that's also in the Castle Art line. And the color is pretty close to theirs. It's a gray-green. Like I said, I noticed a lot of overlap with the naming charcoal. Okay. All right, cool gray. That's pretty nice too. Very. Okay, and then we have cool gray deep. And I'm pressing really hard, and I am impressed with the pressure these can take. So if you're heavy-handed, this is pretty impressive. And they're still smooth. That's what's crazy about it, is they're smooth, yet I can press hard. So that's what's kind of baffling me here. That was really soft for being a gray. Okay. Dust her off. Let's fix my camera. We're all sorts of crooked there. Lift her up a little more. Okay, I think we're all in frame. All right, let's talk colors. Sorry, my camera hand keeps moving. We're gonna be a little there. Okay, color-wise, well, where to begin? This cadmium red really should have been up here, but whatever. So let's talk colors. Like I said, metallics mean nothing to me. Honestly, if companies got rid of those, I wouldn't care. Reds, the reds are really lacking, and this red ochre is a red orange. However, this cadmium red, if you moved it up there, would make more sense. Scarlet red, I would say, is, you know, vermilion's kind of a true red. It's hard to say. The oranges are a pretty good selection. These are awfully close to one another, like cadmium orange and cadmium orange deep. There's not a big diff, but okay. Yellows, well, hello yellows. I mean, this is a yellow orange, but still, look at that. I mean, that's a lot of yellow. The Naples yellow and all these more neutral ones should have probably hung out over here, but we have a primary one here. A pretty good selection overall. Even right here, these ochre tones are great. Greens, I mean, holy greens here. We have a ton of greens. I mean, we start here and green gold, and then we move all the way. We even have some down here mixing in with our teals, but I mean, that's a lot of green. So this would be great for like Johanna Basford stuff. Blues, you still get a ton of blues. We've got loads of teals. Then we get into our light blues, our blue-violet range. I mean, that's a lot of blues as well. Purples, I'm pretty impressed with the purples. We have quite a good selection of purples. Loads of pinks. My gosh. I mean, look at this. Starting from mauve deep down to azalea, that's a lot of pink. A lot. And then that's why I say these colors placed down here seem to be like they wanted to keep anything you would use for creating a skin tone in one section. So they've got these lighter ones, and then they move into their browns. Looking at some of these browns, yeah, you could pull off some darker skin tones. I don't know why, excuse me as I yawn. Like I said, the cadmium red and alizarin crimson, I don't really know why these are thrown in here. They should have been up there more. I cannot figure out the order that they're doing with this. But they are in rainbow order. Gray-wise, so this black, like I said, it's a pretty gray black. It's not a deep black. And then grays, we do have some warm grays. Payne's, this is Davies is a warm gray. Payne's is about the only real, and then we have this cool gray deep in Payne's. And then Terra Verde is a gray green. And then this medium dark green was kind of just like tossed at the end or something. It could have gone up here with the teals. So that one was kind of interesting. Some of these I'm just like, okay, what are we doing? But gray-wise, not a big deal. They gave us plenty of grays to work with. I would have liked to see one or two more. And I think they could have supplemented some of the yellow craziness they did up here with one of those, because yellow is not hard to, you know, deal with. Granted, it's a primary color, but we don't need this many yellows. And then, of course, I've had a few, especially it looks like commonly in the yellow range where I got the streaks. So Naples yellow, medium yellow, and then I did have a green with some brown in there. I think it's this juniper. But yeah, nothing else had the streaks, so that's good. So overall, first impressions, these really aren't bad. They're smooth, smoother than I thought they were going to be, to be honest. I was expecting a lot worse. I went in rather negative. I'm going to say, though, the smell on these bad boys is oof. I'm going to leave my case open, or my tin open, like for the next couple days. Just leave it on the corner of my desk open and see if airing it out will help. But yeah, I will be playing around with these. Let me know if you have these and you'd like to see some color alongs, tutorials. We can definitely add these into the hair series and I'll see if they'll work. Like I said, I can tell from swatching, I'm going to get some oily buildup a lot faster than I'm going to get my layers. So I have to keep that in mind. But overall, it's not bad too. So, yeah. Not bad so far. I still want to play around with them. I definitely have to color with them. I like to do a portrait and everything as well. And yeah, so look out for a review down the road. Again, I review them when I'm ready. So however long that takes. But until next time, guys, take care.